This is an episode of Messages from Spirits. And as you know, I do get attacked demonically by what I usually think is some kind of exotic technology that I don't know how it works. I usually say, somehow I think, anyway, um, but sometimes in between the times when I'm being attacked horribly, I can get connected to many other beings shamanically, which is kind of what everyone can do innately when you're 3 years old and you're playing with dolls, and you're giving voices to dolls. Well, if you have a kid that's 3 years old, you can still give voice to a doll. But if you're a grandma at 80 years old, you can still play dolls, which means that you can talk shamanically, not only to dolls, but to plants, parrots that, well, I don't want to tell you, but if you really want to develop telepathy with your dog, then well, talk to your dog and then send some silent messages to your dog as well, and just say, turn left or something, just to see if you get this telepathic message or something, and then I'm going to send it left or right, and then we'll just try it. Because I don't want to tell you, but they're very empathic. The dogs, they know. Okay, what else do we want to talk to you about? Okay, messages from spirits. Pretty much the demonic spirits that have been hassling me don't want to talk, and they're not going to stay too wild for a minute. Okay, so we think sometimes that these are psychic storms that get these people all riled up. The old idea that was at one time refuted by a statistics professor of mine at McMaster University, but the idea that crazy people are more crazy around the time of full moon could be confounded by the fact people, maybe they see a full moon, then they plan on being crazy. They buy a big bottle of I'm a moonshine or something, or they go really wild. I don't know. I mean, it's self-referential. Okay, what else we want to talk about? Messages from spirit. We want to remind people about. No, I was going to remind people a long time ago when times were very, very hard. I managed to gather up enough of all my stuff to get it into my pickup truck. I had a small king cab, four-cylinder, but I jammed it all. I put a topper on it, and I jammed all kinds of stuff in it, and then I went halfway across the continent, and I settled down. Well, it's just that there was a time when I was mobile as it was, and that's what I was doing. And I didn't know where I was going to go exactly. Anyway, as I got there, and things just kind of Providence moved, and then the next thing I was there for 3 years. It was Whistler, British Columbia. So it's just like if you ever feel like you kind of want to pick up and go. Well, there's times when you are seemingly free to make a choice to go. And then there's other times when, circumstances change, when, you wish you could have gone in the past when you think you could have gone. Because now, as much as you want to go, you just seem like it's really impossible. So, switching gears, some people are always going to say, well, this, that, the next thing. I'm not going to tell you. I know what it's like. Okay, so Marge Simpson, she's got blue hair just like my blue hat. We want to ask Marge Simpson, what about, she's going through a lot of lists. She's referring to me. She says Marge Simpson doesn't want to answer these questions. She says it's too embarrassing for her. But she wants you to remember Maud Findlay. Now, some of you people won't know Maud Findlay, but she was the star of a TV show called Maud in about 1970, 76, 77. That seems like a long time ago. Anyway, Maud was a very progressive woman, women's rights. And anyways, B. Arthur, then she went on and famously played on The Golden Girls again as a comedy genius. So B. Arthur is not afraid to talk about, things that Dr. Ruth Restheimer used to talk about on Q107 in Toronto on the Sunday Night Sex Show with Sue Johansson, who would talk explicitly about sexual toys and the explicit ways that they explicitly named, parts and things, fit together, and how they were like, as often she would rebuke people for having just overtones of various things that were considered to be, anti-pleasure. Anyways, I don't have anything else to tell you because if we were going to talk about, let's talk about sex, baby, let's talk about you and me. Well, mostly I don't want to tell you, but I'm still waiting to, um, I'm waiting for the world to catch up with me because I don't want to, okay, I have to go back to talk about, on The Simpsons, there must have been an episode where Bart Simpson must have called Moe's Bars and, he used to play telephone pranks. And, well, he'd say, could you see if my dad's there? What's your dad's name, kid? Seymour? Yeah, so Seymour who, Mo says. Um, uh, and then Bart says, Seymour Butts. So, okay, then Mo puts down the phone. He starts yelling across the bar, hey, is there a Seymour here? Yeah, a Seymour Butts? And then all the men look at each other like, oh, and then they all freak out. And then the Mo gets all steamed and he gets on there, you damn kids, and he hangs it up. And then Bart screams in laughter and joy. So, I don't know. What else could I tell you about it? Seymour Butts. Well, I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know. It's just that, things are so fake. I mean, if you, okay, I'm just going to use that word. It's called, like erotica. It's just like when you watch erotica and what people present to be interesting scenarios, interesting places where, well, at one point in time, I thought about, what if I could, like, just like, because in Vancouver, you can, well, they just have so many movies made there, and you can, use your location and list it with, the Vancouver City Film Department, whatever they are. And, that there are, these properties are available for use as film sets. Then you could, if you had that in your own town, um, well, I don't know. It's just that, in these eroticas of all different kinds or whatever, quite often, the people are having fun and they are, doing it out in the sun. And quite often, I don't know what to tell you, but I just don't see anybody having any kind of fun like that in real life ever. I mean, people are like, seriously, the erotica, it's never available in real life. And not only that, I mean, in Hollywood movies, there was always just some amazing thing that even like, the dorkiest person got to, they got their, what do they call their sexual awakening or something? I don't know. It's just like it just seems like so natural when you watch, these things, and then when, you have too many bumps in your own road, and then the great American dream never arrives, and neither do all these, unbelievably fun orgiastic, like college sex orgies and things, and because it just looked like it was all torn away from us because of the way that we've been turned from being. Um, well, the human potential movement probably was pointing us in many directions that we can go off in, and I don't know, nobody even talks about that anymore. That was the name of it for, like, I don't know, the 1970s probably. Human potential movement, I don't know, all kinds of group meditations and well, even on TV, there was magicians that were, like there was the amazing Kreskin on in Canada. Well, the mental, I don't know, just, just that, we never see these kind of things these days. Everything is so, dead. I don't know. I just. So anyway, what are we expecting to happen? Well, we just need to keep noticing times when it's like what we're promised through our culture and what we actually get to experience are diabolically opposed. I don't know. We're just like, anyways, we're just treated like I gotta go because this is long enough. One more thing, Lieutenant Colombo from I don't know which police force he was working for, Lieutenant Colombo. Anyway, it's just because one more thing he used to say that he was the detective on like the Sunday mystery movie, Lieutenant Colombo. Peter Falk played him. Well, anyways, Columbo, he would always just, because he was annoying on purpose as part of his way of getting the suspect to, well, I don't know, just it was the way that they played that scene because it was all scripted. But, if everybody wants to come to a better understanding, they need to understand one last thing. If you see this color of green, this color green here, this color green is the color of the Galactic Federation of Light. The Galactic Federation of Light are here to exterminate everything that appears to be like a roach. So if you see anybody, well, not like, I don't want to tell you anything other than I can't help you out. Anyways, if you saw that, that's the color. And if you see that coming around, it means they're coming to check you out. And what they'll be doing is most possibly, I don't know, they're going to just check you out and inspect you, and if you don't pass muster, then I don't know, but you're going to be like, I can't help you out. Why? Well, I just told you before many times, don't drink any booze, and for God's sake, don't eat any meat, because everyone is waiting for that time when the wheat is separated from the chaff, as it says in the Bible, and no one knows when that's going to happen. It could be 6 seconds from now or 600 years from now. But eventually, at some point in time, the people of planet Earth are going to set, standards required in order to be here on planet Earth. Because they used to do that in, ancient Greece. If you weren't a perfect baby, then they would destroy the physically deformed baby. Well, it's just that that won't be the characteristic of it. It will probably be on the scale of human consciousness. Well, it's just that people who aren't of a high enough vibration will be considered too toxic to have around on the planet. I mean, normally we call those people like, horrific criminals, terrorists and, mass murderers and, I don't know, all kinds of other horrific things that people can get into. Well, it's just that, those things are, anyways, if anybody does remember this color here is kind of like a halfway green, halfway yellow. It's called the Galactic Federation of Light. And the Galactic Federation of Light are the ones that are going to be checking you all out. Because, well, most likely they're going to be checking to see where you are on the scale of human consciousness. And, if you want to, like, don't drink booze, don't eat meat if you wish to be safe. If you're like a little bit drunk, you're probably difficult to handle, and therefore you will be treated as hostile. If you're like smoking weed, I don't want to tell you, but if you're acting hostile, they're not going to care. Well, you should just, be peace. If you're feeling anxiety, then make sure that you stop. Just find a safe place where, or maybe you just need to just focus on breathing and relaxing and remember the old adage. You want to put this out, right? In your opinion, is the universe paranoia? Or is the universe pronoia? You all know what paranoia is. It's very unpleasant. It makes you paranoid to think other people are like some. Well, I don't know. Sometimes you. I don't know. Anyway, like the opposite pole is pronoia, and that is that the universe is out to help you out. The universe really, really wants you to do like thrive. Yes. So, with all that in mind, it's just that, you need to be very conscious that maybe the universe is telling you by certain feelings, like, yeah, this is not the most dangerous place, but maybe it's not the safest place either. Or it might be like a 5 alarm fire. Like it just feels like, I don't think it's safe here. We need to get in the car and we need to get out of here very quickly, but make sure that you don't cause too much of a disturbance because you don't want to attract too much attention. But assertively, get your key out and walk towards the car. And it might happen, really. And that's the parking angels that are saying, we want you to go right now. And it's because it's really important for safety purposes. And if we seem like we're a bit like this, it's because we are. And please act along. Maybe later on we'll explain it, but please, because we're here to help you out. And it's very important that you just follow our instructions to a T right now and just act as if, but on the other side of this street, while this is going on, please work on calming yourself down. Because at the same time as we're having this anxiety attack that we know it could be paranoia or it could be something real, we want to be putting out an air of, well, that's fine and dandy while I'm doing this, but I'm going to act as if I need to go to the car. Because I'm adding a layer of separation between this false reality of fear and me as an actor inside. Inside, I'm playing the part of somebody who's been told by my, heartbeat or whatever that, that those people are out to get me. But it's just that I, monitor myself quite a bit. And I go out, and then, if it's like twilight and I see, it's just me and there's like 4 people walking down the sidewalk towards me, it's like sometimes I'll feel like a paranoia on that. It's like, that's 4 on 1. And it's like, well, because I often walk and then I'll stop and I'll watch the people and watch them go by and I'll see that I was completely insane. Because I'll look at them as they go by and they're like just friendly kids. They're just like, they'll be 4, I don't know, say they're like, 22-year-old kids. Or whatever. It's just, something, because it's dark and you can't see. And, I don't know, you've been watching too much Netflix as psychological thriller books and, definitely too much Lester the Molester at 6:30 on NBC Nightly News. Lester Holt, Lester the Molester. You watch him and it's like you start getting paranoid. So if you do get that, and then it's time just to work on breathing, and then still feel like if it feels like you need to go, then just be like on, put yourself on yellow alert anyways. If red alert is like, is like fight or flight is, and yellow alert is like, well, I gotta be like, it was basically put your jacket on if you're in the bar. This is what I would do. It's like, that doesn't look too good. It's like, first thing I do is I put my jacket on, make sure that my shoes are done up well, and then I finish my pop. And then, or maybe it's like, this is getting way out of hand way too quick, and then it's just out the door I go. So, you just have to play it moment by moment, but it's always going to look to see your patterns. Is like, how many times was I right that this was a dangerous situation? And how many times was I overreacting? And were there any cases where I was even worse, underreacting, like maybe when I was drunk and then next thing you know, I'm more involved with somebody that it turns out that I should never have been in. This is dangerous, and I'm drunk, and my anyways. So it's just that you need to know all these things, and that's why I say, drinking booze. Well, in the olden days we did it, and I don't know. In the modern day, I don't know. Anyways, we have to judge accordingly.